What do you want?
The views and opinions expressed in the following podcast do not necessarily reflect those of the DVM Production Empire. That's how you know it's good.
You're listening to the DVM Production Empire. Packed with content, millions of downloads, taking the world by force. Join the Empire today at dvmpe.com.
Groovy.
Hey, what are you doing?
Oh man, I've been watching this Netflix series.
Oh, you've been like House of Cards? That the new season just came out.
No, I finished that one.
Orange is the New Black.
It's done.
What? Oh, was it like? Is it like a comedy special?
No, this one's called Fireplace.
I haven't heard of that. Who's in it?
I don't think anyone need know.
I mean, I know a lot of people.
No, I don't think you know these guys.
All right. Well, what's it about?
You just watch. You'll figure it out.
Is it going to do anything else?
Oh yeah, it's heating up. What's going on, Empire? This is Stupid Talking Stupid on the DVM Production Empire. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Bear, and we read the stupid, so you don't have to. There's a bunch of little stupid this week.
It's a little stupid.
Yeah, thankfully there wasn't a whole bunch of huge, glaring, stupid stories sticking out. So this is going to be I guess, more of a lighthearted week, even though we never really are that serious.
No.
Like,
As opposed to the serious shows we do.
Yeah, we're pretty serious
or
about
like
the
hard-hitting journalism.
You know, I think my journalism is better than a lot of these stories that we cover.
I think so.
So, you get a little bit of credit.
I think we're going to get a Pulitzer, though. And the Pulitzer Prize for journalism goes to Stupid's Talking Stupid. And we're like, fuck you!
And on that day, everyone in print media said, no, we quit.
Fuck you, First Establishment.
Speaking of fuck you, we have an interesting contrast in a story coming out of Sunderland, England.
Oh, yeah.
Are you familiar with the Vivante Private Members Club?
Oh, no.
Okay, well, it's it was rather a sadomasochist swingers club with a dungeon and torture chamber. You know, it's like getting McDonald's with a play place. You have to have the play place, otherwise it's just not good enough.
Right.
And it got shut down over safety concerns. A place that's full of torture devices got shut down because someone might get hurt.
Okay.
I love the contrast of it there. The problem is that it has a significant amount of fire risks. With everything else they have going on, there's also a chance you might burn to death while being strapped to a cross and getting whipped. So I've heard it's not as fun.
No, not if you're on fire.
You could just say it's burning passion, baby. Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
Some of the things that they have issues with, they had walls that were left unplastered and had exposed wiring. They had a non-functioning fire alarm, flammable plastic covers on the walls that were meant for decoration, but oops, they're super flammable. And they had a bunch of open flames everywhere from the candles.
Oh yeah, because you want the ambiance.
It's a really
Get some
high,
of that ambience.
It's a high scale, classy establishment. They part of the problems they also had was that the rear entrance was hidden, and it was also locked from the outside with a roller shutter. So you know, like when you closing a business for the night and you pull the shutter down, that they had that on the back door, because they said that when they went outside to smoke, people in the neighborhood would throw shit at them like bottles, because the neighborhood did not want a sex shop in there.
I could see that.
You wouldn't like it if you lived down the street from a super awesome fun time.
We had one in Addison.
Yeah.
It was like a massage parlor, quote, quote, quote.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to shut it down. But the problem was they did a sting, like the police officers did a sting operation on it. And just to make sure what they had encountered was in fact a blowjob, they went back six or eight more times just to make sure. Like maybe she fell and got up and then fell again and they got up and then fell
really
again.
slippery floors, yeah.
Real
get
slippery or something. And just to make sure, because they weren't sure, they went back and unfortunately they were recorded. They kept records and they were like, fine, you want to shut us down? We're going to tell everybody how many times this officer in fact came to check us out.
I call that thorough investigation, and you want people to have a thorough investigation.
First time is happenstance. Second time is coincidence.
What's the fourth time?
The fourth time, awesome.
What about the seventh time?
Getting bored.
Really? Oh God, this investigation.
This investigation is
really it's draining.
Bring me in someone new to investigate. This investigatee uses too much teeth.
That's they also had doors that would lock behind you, so someone would have to let you out of certain rooms.
Oh. That's weird.
So yeah, they pretty much made a death trap that also had a sex dungeon. And it was a private membership club, so you had to pay membership to get in there. One of the things that were required is to sign up, you needed to have an ID and your most recent utility bill.
Okay.
Yeah. Those were the requirements to sign up to be a member. You had to have money and a gas bill or a water bill.
Or a phone bill.
Yeah. What? I'm not quite sure what that,
Okay, Mr. Breckenridge, it says here that I have your driver's license and I have your phone bill. You play a lot on long distance.
I have a lot of friends.
Yeah, okay. Well, Mr. Breckenridge, it says here that you live at 245 West
I live in the area and just leave it.
Elm Street.
Oh my God.
And you work at
Please don't.
the high school.
Please.
I just graduated from the high school.
I know. I remember you.
Oh, well, I don't remember you. I didn't go very often. That's why I'm a hooker. Anyway, here's your welcome packet.
Thank
It
you.
has ball gag, some lubricant. I don't understand why they call it lubricant. It should be called lubricant because you can't have a good time with it. That's just I'm trying to be a stand-up comic as well as a hooker. Anyway,
I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you, Mr. Can I call you Paul?
I really wish you wouldn't.
Paul Breckenridge. How's that daughter of yours? Didn't you have? I just saw her the other day.
She's no longer talking to me.
Oh, she's okay. So I shouldn't tell her that I saw you.
I would appreciate a little bit of discretion.
Okay.
I thought this was a private.
It is a private club. I'm just saying because we're old friends. Anyway, so I've got you. Here's lubricant. Remember that as callback. And this is your flame retardant blanket.
Oh, I brought my own.
You brought your own. Good, because we are quite the dangerous location.
That's part of the reason I came here. I like living on the edge.
You are living on the edge, definitely. You may burst into flames. You're going to have that good of a time. And you may really burst into flames.
Oh, it's not a euphemism?
No, we really want you to have that flame retardant blanket. Some guy the other day, he was like, oh, and we were like, oh, he's having a good time. No, it turns out he's just on fire. It's one of those Minnesota hookers.
Hanging out in England.
Hanging out in England.
As they do.
It's where they gotta go.
They have their hours used to be Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays.
Those are the doing it days.
Because Wednesday they had from 8 to midnight. They had different options. It was
Early bird special.
well, couples were £5. Single males
Just
were 15
5 pound
pounds.
people?
Yep.
Those are all that was allowed?
It's a bunch of toddlers.
Couples were 5 pounds?
Yeah.
Did we do the... What's 5...
I don't know.
I'm gonna look. 5 pounds
What are the freedom units on that?
in dollars. What?
You're terrible looking.
I'm sorry.
They had themed nights. They had
$6.39.
yeah, but you had to pay. I think you had to pay a membership fee as well. And then on these nights, you had to pay that much to get in. So the membership fee was just to become a member of the club.
Okay.
So you're paying a Sam's Club membership, but then you're also having to pay a door charge.
It's like discount hookering.
I mean, it's not like you go in and there's hookers just
So
waiting
the
for you.
door charge is $6.39.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, this is some discount shit. And
Well,
they should have some respect for themselves.
They couldn't finish the walls, and they just left fire everywhere. They're like, oh, you know what? We should really hold ourselves to a higher
Maybe
standard.
ask for $10 and you can finish the walls.
Get some spackle. Get it going.
Ew.
Yeah, they had
Plenty of spackle.
their website's been taken down, but I was able to see an old version of it. One of the things they don't sell alcohol, even though they had a bar.
Okay.
Yeah, because we do not charge cocktail fees or corkage fees because you can bring your own booze.
Yeah, just keep it away from the open flame.
All we ask is you purchase your soft drinks and mixers from us. They have a super fancy bar to serve soda.
Get our sodas.
Want some soda and spankings? It's a slumber party.
Soda spanking Sundays.
One of the things that they have in bold on their website is, we have a sex machine available for a modest fee.
$6.39.
I don't know what they mean by sex machine. Do they just mean like a German guy that can just go?
Maybe.
Or do they just like...
James Brown.
Or they have like a vibrating couch that you can have sex with?
Maybe.
HomemadeSexToys.com.
There you go.
Not a sponsor. Should be, though.
Should be.
It's 2 podcasts now we've talked about them.
A lot of stuff lighting on fire.
Just having sex with a beanbag chair, poof, it catches on fire. You're like, oh my God, I was going so fast. Like, no, we just knocked over a candle.
That wall is just on fire. Don't worry about it. It's got nothing to do with you.
It's like, see, here we have our sex dungeon. Here we have our bar. Upstairs we have our fire room. Like, oh, what's that about? Oh, we just have, everything's covered in asbestos.
It's just on fire. You want to put it out? No, then we wouldn't have a fire room, silly.
Yeah, talk about taking away our options.
It's just a room.
You can't just have like an empty room.
No, that'd be ridiculous. So we have a room of fire.
And speaking of empty rooms,
Okay.
have you did you ever live in a dorm?
Sort of.
Okay. When you lived in the dorm, did you talk to your roommates beforehand to kind of like...
I did not have a roommate,
Okay.
per se.
Okay. Well, because I had a roommate when I went away to college, and we talked beforehand about who was going to bring what.
Right.
We ended up each bringing a fridge, but like he brought the TV, I brought the game consoles, and like, you know, just kind of shared stuff like that. There's a student of Gillette College in Wyoming, a 23-year-old Lydia Marie Cormany, who was arrested on June...
That's not a real name.
Oh, no, it is. It is. She was arrested on June 5th after trying to leave Walmart with nearly $1,900 worth of merchandise.
Oh.
Yeah, as it turns out...
I'm not paying for this. She's running towards the door. I got about $1,900.
She had recently moved into a new dorm because it was the start of summer session, And in fact, the first day of summer session was the day she was arrested. She's only enrolled in one class, which is biology. But she initially said...
It's not pre-law.
Originally, she said that when she was caught, she wasn't stealing just to steal stuff. She was stealing because she was doing a research paper on kleptomania.
Okay.
Yeah, it was for school, so it was okay. I'm allowed to steal.
It's like cheating on your girlfriend, being like, honey, I'm doing a research paper on cheating on you.
I'm slinging this dick elsewhere. I'm
101.
Trying to get a master's degree, but you won't give me any
just being
loans.
Just being rude.
Yeah, way to corrupt my advancement.
Yeah, no, so we lived in a building. We lived in a weird building, though. Our building was Stratford Arms and 70th and Broadway, and it's where J.D. Salinger wrote Catcher in the Rye. But before we lived there, it was also a mental institution.
Oh, same.
And some of the crazy people were still there because New York tenant laws said that they couldn't just be kicked out; they had to have a whole.
Is that along the same lines as the fixed rate
rent?
Fixed
Yeah,
rent. Well,
yeah, kind of
so
like rent
you can
control.
So if you had the same apartment since like 1990, you're potentially paying a lot less than someone that's moving in there this week.
Yeah, and they love getting those people the hell out of there so they can charge them like crazy. But the whole thing was, so they were waiting for the court case to happen. So they kind of moved some of them around and moved them upstairs to like past 12, and like. So we were always like, don't go past 12.
Yeah.
Although some poor girl second semester got put up there on accident. It was the worst. Well, we couldn't find her in the building. Like, we were like, where is she supposed to be here?
She's up in her room crying.
She's supposed to be in 2. But someone wrote 12. So she went up to 12, went up to the room, and was like... And I didn't even want to like go up and get her. I'm like, you go up and get her. And I was like, so I kind of went, and I was just like, Mission Impossible, like through the thing, like terrified because I didn't want to be up there either.
Right.
And I saw her, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? And she's like,
get the fuck out.
She goes, what? I go, get your stuff, let's go. And she's like, well, I'm like, we need to go. She's like, what happened? I'm like, you're supposed to be on floor 2. They're gonna let you know about all of this, but get your shit.
It's one of those things where like, I don't have time to explain.
Welcome to New York. Get your shit.
You need to get the fuck with me right now.
I'm like, let's go. Like, I literally had somebody in the elevator, like holding the door.
Yeah.
Like reluctantly.
So you could like Indiana Jones back into it.
Yeah.
And grab her suitcase.
Right.
At the last minute.
And she went home that day.
Really?
Yeah, she did not stay.
So she got misplaced and just said, fuck it.
She's called her mom and said, I'm going. I'm leaving. But I was.
What happened in the time that she got there?
She was terrified. She's sitting on the bed. So imagine like your worst nightmare.
How did she get in the room?
It was open. A lot of those rooms were empty and open.
So she just walked in, no key, and was like, this is fine.
This is where the room number is supposed to be.
Jesus.
You know? So here she is sitting there like, and a lot of those rooms weren't done yet really. Like they were still like, just imagine walking into a horror movie and someone's like, you live here now.
It's like the beginning of Accepted when they go to the mental institution.
It's a lot like that. Like there was a guy who's down the hall from us who thought he was Walt Whitman, and he used to come and he used to like shout at us for being like allowed in the halls. There was a woman we called Taz.
So these people weren't locked up.
No,
they were just in their
They
apartment.
were just in it. In fact, one of the original Buckwheat was living in that building.
So kind of like, good side, bad side. Bad side,
he was
stuck with crazy people. Good side, Buckwheat.
Yeah, but like, because like we always used to joke, we're like, I call him Buckwheat. And it turned out it was him. Like someone went in the room, like when he went to the bathroom. Someone was like, I'm gonna go check it out.
Oh, geez.
And there was like photos and shit, and like him and Alfalfa, and they're like, holy shit, it's really Buckwheat. And I was like, holy crap. But it was terrifying. It's beautiful now. It's a great building and everything. But I'm glad that
gone.
I'm glad we were there for the testing. Jeez. But it was the other thing about it that goes with the story was I had sent ahead a box of stuff.
Oh man. I know you said you sent ahead a box, but with the story, I thought you said I sent a box and ahead. No. That's what I heard in my mind. I'm like, what the fuck?
No, I sent ahead a box of stuff, like my comforter stuff and a bunch of just stuff and some clothes and whatever. Because of the closing of the mental facility, the workers were striking. They were protesting, which means UPS would not cross that picket line. Because they're union as well. Mm-hmm. Meaning I was not getting my shit.
Ever? Or they just put it on the curb and said, fuck it?
No, because they couldn't just put it on the curb.
Right.
So they were going to try and arrange to have it dropped off at the school, but then you had to go down to UPS. You had to this was before everything was super accessible on the internet. I'm going to change where it is going. It was what was it? It was 1999. And there was just not that accessibility. So literally we had to go down to UPS and I'm like, I'm here now. Can you just give me my box? And they're like, no, it's on the truck. And I said, well, the truck's not going to drop it off. Can I have it? And they said, no, because it's on the truck. And I said,
so sorry, once it's on the truck, it stays on the truck till it gets delivered somewhere.
And so I said, okay, well then I changed it so that they would deliver it a couple blocks away to the school. Okay. And they go, okay, it's going to be a day or two. I said, it's on the truck. I was just getting angry. This is my first day in New York City. Yeah. And whatever. And that's when I met my roommate, so to speak. We were in the middle of the floor. Alfalfa. Long story short. Alfalfa, and now you know the rest of the story.
I was bled in to the goon,
to the Little Rascals.
The Little Rascals.
I was jumped in.
No, you bled in.
No, but her name was Bethany Sneezy. She was from New Hampshire. We shared a bathroom, and I met her dad, and he's like, "Oh, see what you do in your room?" Super Italian, whatever. One of my favorite things he said, he's like, "I have 2 daughters, and let me tell you something. If I had sons, I'd be unstoppable." But
what's that mean?
I don't know. There's no good girls aren't going to get me anywhere in life, I guess. I don't know. But then he's sitting there and he's like, "Where's your stuff? Where's your stuff?" And I just told him about it. He's like, "Goddamn Teamsters." Yeah. He's like, "No." He's like, "Hold on a second." He's like, "Bethany!" She's like, "What?" He's like, you got the blankets or something for Patrick? You got the blankets and everything like that? Because it's the goddamn unions. And she goes, "Which one does he want, the purple or the blue? What do you think? He wants the blue." "You want the blue, right?" "It's blue." He's like, "I'm good." He's like, "You're not a fag, are you?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "Okay." He's like, "You gotta," because there's stuff weird going on around here. Because they didn't tell us. Only thing they told us was that there was going to be picketers.
Okay. And they didn't tell you why.
They didn't tell me why.
That is awesome.
And I was like, yeah.
Surprise.
Because a guy tried to get in my room. A girl was using a phone. And I hear her, she's like, "You can't be in here," blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden I walk in. The guy claiming to be security, building security. I took the guy and I freaking threw him out of the room. And everything like that. And then next thing you know, I'm getting a call from the school because security had told them that I was physical with the guy. And they're like, "Just don't engage with these people." So I called my dad, and I was pissed. I was like, "This guy came in my room,
right? And
I threw his ass out. I almost put him through the fucking wall and everything like that." And he goes, "What did school say?" The school said, "Don't engage." All of a sudden, you click. They call back, and then they're like, "Look, we're really sorry about this. We're going to do everything like that. Someone's going to come and, and everything and talk to you and everything." And they're like, "We're really sorry." So I called my dad, and I told my dad, and he's like, I told them, I said, "Look, you're lucky my son didn't kill that fucking guy." He's like, "New York state law says someone walks into your house, you can handle it, and you'll be okay." And he's like, "I don't ever want to hear you tell him, don't engage again. He goes, that guy engaged the minute he walked into his goddamn house.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, but the difference with me and Bethany was we learned that like the locks on our bathroom didn't work, but she was prone to leaving locking her keys in her room.
Yeah.
So we went out like the first night together, and we went and got like a door hanger. And the door hanger says, "You may not know it, but I'm naked from the waist down." And some guy sitting at a desk. So basically, we decided not to fix the lock on the doors.
Yeah.
So that like we always had a way to our room if we locked our keys. You know.
Nice.
So, but anyway.
Speaking of kooky roommates.
Kooky roommates.
So yeah, she moved into a new dorm. This is Lydia. She moved into a new dorm, and as it turns out,
Lydia's a crazy.
the roommate she had ended up taking back all of her stuff, which turned out to be pretty much all of the household items that you need to get by. So Lydia decided to go and steal some stuff. After she was busted, they found out she'd actually been shoplifting for about the past 3 weeks, just going through and stealing stuff. She had thousands of dollars worth of merchandise in her dorm room. But finally, she was busted when she was trying to walk out of Walmart with these 3 super essential items. What 3 super essential items did she get busted walking out of Walmart with?
Are these dorm essentials?
3 essential items.
Toilet paper.
No.
Paper towels.
Nope. I'm going to interrupt you now and say these 3 items added up to a total of almost $1,900.
Oh my God.
Now, when I say these essential items, you can't see it, but there's a little quote over here and a little quote over there.
Flat screen TV.
Yeah. 3 flat screen TVs.
Oh, God. You didn't tell me they were the same items.
I didn't tell you they were different either.
That's true.
Everyone knows you need 3 flat screen TVs. By the way, can we stop calling them flat screen TVs now? They're just TVs. Can you get you can get a curved monitor, but those are specifically called curved monitors.
Right, and these are flat screen TVs.
Yeah, but it's just a TV. Why can't they just call it, this is a TV? Like, no, this is a flat screen. Well, no shit.
It's got a flat screen.
I understand that.
It's not a curved screen.
But this is
it's how you differentiate between the curved and the flat.
It's a differentiation that was needed 10 years ago when you could still buy a CRT TV.
Well, that was a CRT TV. Like, this isn't a CRT TV, it's a flat screen. It's not curved, so it's flat.
I feel like it should just be called the TV, though, you know?
Right, but what kind?
High def. 4K.
Flat screen.
Yeah. I mean, down at a molecular level, it's pretty bumpy. Like, you could have a miniature Mars rover drive on it and possibly get stuck.
How dare you?
You do not know the capabilities of a miniature Mars rover.
Apparently, not very much because it gets stuck.
On a molecular level, on a TV? Yeah, absolutely.
I think on a molecular level, it should be able to handle the pumps.
You would think so, but it's a Mars rover, not a flat screen rover.
Well, let's get one of those. Can we just call them rovers?
No.
Why not?
Because it's made for flat screens.
All right, flat screen.
Not curved screens.
So it's made for TVs?
No.
Ha ha!
No, we're talking about...
just contradicted yourself.
Absolutely not.
You did.
Rovers are not TVs.
No, they're not, but they're made for what?
Roving.
On?
Mars.
And the other TV rovers are made for what?
There aren't TV rovers.
The flat screen.
You're just making things up now.
How dare you?
How dare you? Are you trying to say that there's some kind of miniature rover that can go on a flat screen? What kind of insane shit are you on right now?
I don't know.
So I'm right. But yeah, just like that, her go-to was, I'm stealing these 3 TVs for research for a kleptomania paper because I'm in school right now. It's like, well,
we're gonna call your professor, and you better have that assignment. You're still going to jail, but
we just want
for how long?
Yeah, it's a poorly thought out research paper. Then, well, you're in trouble, but can you really be so much in trouble?
Yeah, right.
I don't really know how to segue to this. So, speaking of sending sandwiches into space.
Which we just were. Speaking of Mars.
Oh, there we go.
This is why I should do the segues.
Well, if you knew any of the stories going into it, you could.
All right. Point out your plot holes elsewhere.
Because it's a flat screen already.
Flat screen.
I pick really important things to get behind.
Right. I see that. I've never seen you so up on something to be like, look, this is important to me.
But you know what? If the people listening to this, they're
how
going to
do
be
you
like,
feel about healthcare and immigration? Fuck that.
is there flat screen healthcare and immigration? No, it's just healthcare and
Just
immigration.
healthcare and immigration. Anyway.
Point goes to me.
Speaking of Mars.
KFC has decided to really try to launch their new sandwich.
Is it a zinger?
It's the KFC Zinger. Their boring-ass spicy chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
Their way of marketing it is, we should probably shoot this sandwich into space. Like that to me, that doesn't send a message of, man, I really want to try it. That means they want to be so far away from it.
Doesn't send a thing that like it's accessible either.
Well, it just makes me think that KFC is so upset with this sandwich. Instead of not making it anymore, they want to shoot it off the planet.
It'd be one thing if it was going to be like intercepted by the International Space Station.
Well,
that'd be cool.
They're doing it to.
It's like freeze packaged, and they open it up and they go,
Well, it's like those new KFC commercials they have where they have people trying the fucking sandwich after saying mean tweets about KFC food, and they're like, nah, or no, sorry, that's Burger King.
That was Burger King. Yeah.
Sorry. So yeah, Burger King is like
their chicken sandwich is phenomenal.
Would you say it's out of this world?
I would.
Well, then they need to get up with Worldview Enterprises, an Arizona-based stratospheric exploration company.
Yeah, they got a really good new one.
So they have this new high-altitude balloon called Stratolite, and it was created to deliver more routine and meaningful access to space for all. And this mission allows us to give edge of space access to a commercial customer that would previously deem a project like this unimaginable. They said, sure, this whole chicken sandwich payload is a bit funny, but KFC gets to embark on a one-of-a-kind marketing experiment while we get to pursue our first multi-day shakedown cruise in the stratosphere. Basically what they're doing is, with Stratolite, it's a remote-controlled, uncrewed balloon vehicle, and they want to send the fucking sandwich up near the stratosphere for at least 4 days to test the vehicle for commercial audiences. Basically, they're testing the capabilities of being able to send up a balloon that just hangs out in the stratosphere for a few days,
right?
To see if humans can go like a little.
Well, is this like the same thing that the guy did when he jumped from like with the Red Bull?
Technically, yes, but that was him going up into a pod, jumping out of the pod, falling down. This is like going up and hanging out up there. Kind of like how they have now those the 0G plane where it flies up and down, so it simulates zero gravity when it's descending, and then it goes back up.
What do they call it? The vomit comet.
The vomit comet, yeah, which they filmed part of the new Mummy.
Yeah.
And have you seen the trailer for it with the way he screams?
Oh yeah.
Have you seen the remixes of that?
No.
Someone did a remix version of that trailer with just that ridiculous scream of his at different parts of it. I'm like, I want to see this version of the movie. Just him wild screaming. Like, someone wrote an article about it saying that Tom Cruise clearly has no idea how to scream. He's never screamed in his life, and this is the first thing he's done. He's like, how do I do this? And they're like, let's use this in the movie. Let's fuck with him.
Dude, I don't know. Well, I've read some terrible things about that movie. Like, I heard that he was like, he essentially took over the set, was basically directing the director. But what's more is they are putting a lot of money and a lot of time into this quote unquote dark universe.
Mm-hmm. And it started off
terribly.
Yeah.
Because even I heard that like Russell Crowe sucks as Dr. Jekyll, And they were going to do a whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's kind of like, let's rethink this.
If they wouldn't have launched it under the premise of it being in the Dark Universe, it would have done even worse.
Right.
Like, because I know people saw it just because, like, oh, this is going to be the start of something. Let's go check it out.
Right.
If it was just, hey, Tom Cruise is doing a Mummy movie, I'm like, no, fuck that.
Yeah, no, I'm not going.
Because a lot of people were just like, no, fuck that.
I still haven't seen Wonder Woman.
I saw it. It was awesome.
I want to say it.
If you want to follow the stream of the sandwiches launch, KFC
Oh,
will
good. I was worried about
KFC
that.
will
Where?
be streaming it on their social media channels. So it's like that fucking giraffe all over again. Like, is he going to give birth? I don't know. It's been 7 years.
Ugh.
You think it would pop out a baby by now?
Yeah. Fucking limelight stealing bitch. Just give birth to the thing already.
Can we shoot a baby giraffe into space?
Ooh,
That I would watch.
That I'd watch.
You can put a chicken sandwich in there. It's probably going to be hungry after 4
Yeah,
days.
give it a sandwich to go.
General reviews of the Zinger sandwichers. Meh. It's okay. Someone's like, you call this a spicy chicken sandwich?
Dude,
this
like,
is not a spicy chicken sandwich.
It's good that they're chicken that because sending the Burger King one into space, that's just a waste of a good chicken sandwich.
Speaking of...
Stupid Talking Stupid is brought to you by Burger King Chicken Sandwich. I wouldn't blast that into space.
As well as HomemadeSexToys.com. It'll blast you into space.
And Little Mars TV Rovers.
Thank you for not saying flat screen. I knew you'd come around to it.
No, that's what I meant, though.
No. No.
I'm going to go back and add it. It'd be like flat screen. Just add a flat screen.
But find like a clip of someone saying it in like an old commercial when they first got introduced. New flat screen! So it's got like some...
Wow, that screen is so flat.
I bet you could drive a Mars rover over that. That's not invented yet.
It's like they knew.
Speaking of knowing,
Okay.
a psychic
Yay!
was hanging out in a restaurant in Ontario, Canada.
Okay.
At Silk's Country Kitchen. He's a 51-year-old psychic named Blair Robertson.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah. So he fell victim to something you hear about every day. He's just sitting in the restaurant at the table with his friend, minding his own business, just eating lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, an 85-year-old woman drives through the window of the
Happened to
restaurant,
me every day.
pins him up against the wall.
Every day.
He was quoted as saying, "I didn't see it happening." His psychic didn't see this car coming.
Yeah.
And his defense, which I love the most, is a lot of times we can't even read our own lives, and that's just how it works. You can say that. He's like, no, that's just how it works.
Yeah.
You can
And
have that
that's
defense
the way
for everything.
It works.
It's like, oh, we're going to accept this. He's
Right.
like, no, that's just how it works. No, it's supposed to do that.
It's a big duh.
I'm sorry, but this sex dungeon is on fire. Yeah, it's supposed to be. It's out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's how it works.
Excuse me, my car is flying right now because the airbags exploded off the ground.
They exploded off the ground?
Yeah, and it shot
And
the
then
car
shot
up in the
it
air.
into the air?
Yeah, I'm starting to fall down.
You're going to fall because of gravity?
I'm like 100 feet up in the air.
Yeah, but you're going to come down pretty fast because of gravity.
I want to know why this happened.
That's just how it works.
Excuse me? My pasta is staring at me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it tends to do that.
There seems to be some eyes in there. It's not supposed to do that.
Do you have anything on your face?
No, I have nothing on my
Are you sure
face.
you don't have something on your face?
I might have a little bit of sauce. But...
Okay, then that's probably what it's looking at.
Okay, but is pasta supposed to have eyes?
Yeah, that's the way it works.
So just with anything. Anything you can just make it work.
Yeah, that's just how it works.
Uh,
Eye pasta? That's weird. My pasta staring at me.
Oh, I'm
Stupid
sorry.
Talking Stupid is brought to you by Acid. Take it before you do your podcast.
if you took acid and listened to this podcast, you probably have some really fucked up visuals.
Oh, yeah.
You know that duck that's 51 tons and 11 stories tall?
Yeah.
It's going to get you.
You know why?
What?
That's just how it works.
So this psychic, he was having lunch with a friend. You know that friend? Also psychic.
Oh, it's good when they hang out together.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't he see it coming?
He probably did. And just like, you're going to get it, Blair.
This fucking guy.
That's what you get for being a grown man. You're still calling yourself Blair.
Yeah.
How dare you?
What should he call himself?
Flat screen Blair.
Is he just Blair?
No, he's flat. He got flattened by a car.
So he's Flat Blair.
Yeah.
There's Curved Blair. There's CRT Blair. This is just Blair.
This is off-road Blair.
See, that's what happens when a Mars rover just comes and rolls over him.
It's anarchy.
That's just how it works.
So, we talked about this story when it happened. Do you remember the husband, the 71-year-old man in Kansas City, Missouri, who robbed a bank and then immediately gave himself up because he was, as he said, he would rather be in jail than be at home.
That's awesome. I do recall that.
So yeah, that happened back in September. And then in January, he pled guilty, and he was facing up to 37 months in prison. So he walked into this bank that was Bank of Labor, which was a block away from police headquarters.
Like Michael Schofield prison break style.
Yeah. So he walked into the bank, which was located a block away from police headquarters, handed them a note saying, "I have a gun, give me money." The teller gave him $2,424, and then he proceeded to just sit down in the lobby and wait for the cops to show up. So they walked in the door, he's like, I did it. It was me. He didn't have a gun on him. He walked in with the note, said, give me money, and then he sat down. He even wrote the note that he was going to use to rob the bank in front of his wife and said, you see this?
I'm doing this.
I would rather be in jail than be in this fucking house with you.
Do you have a favorite bank robbery film or television show?
I mean, Heat's always
Heat's a really good one.
It's so good.
I do. It came on the other day, and I was so excited. Quick Change, starring Bill Murray.
I've never seen it.
Oh my god, you gotta watch this movie. It's Quick Change with Bill Murray.
If you had to write a description of it on a Mars rover, what would you say?
Bill Murray, Gina Davis, and Randy Quaid.
Okay, that's one side of it. What's the other side of the Mars rover?
Rob a bank and can't get out of New York City.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, they released.
Is it a comedy?
It is. They released themselves as hostages.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. If you could find it, watch it. Inside
Man's a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Denzel Washington. Another one I really like is, what's it called? I think it's called Bandits. Mm-hmm. It's Bruce Willis.
And is it Billy Bob Thornton?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they become a pair of bank robbers that break into like the bank manager's home the night before a robbery, and then they take the bank manager to the bank to rob the bank. I was like, oh, that's a new twist on it.
Right.
Seen before.
No, I still love the first episode of Prison Break. He basically, putting the suit on, grabs a gun, walks in, fires the gun off, and then literally puts it down on the ground, and then just puts his hands behind his head. And he's just like, okay, arrest me.
We're doing it. I brought in a gun. I discharged it in the bank. I have met all the criteria to go to this exact prison.
Right. Where I will escape.
Totally don't ask me why I did it.
Yeah, don't look at all these tattoos on me.
That show was good for the first season.
It was. It was
and
the one that I was part of.
Prison broke, and then prison prison rebroke.
I got to see them put this. I saw the stencils, and they had some airbrush on the tattoos once. They were touching it up on the side.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool. And I remember seeing the stencils, and I was like, I could get so much money on eBay for this. And I was getting so fired.
Dude, it would suck. It's like, all right, 4 hours, I'm gonna spray paint this shit on your body. Don't sweat, or you'll ruin it.
Right.
So we have to film everything in 60 degrees, and everyone else is be uncomfortable.
60, that's cute. No, It was 30 degrees, and it was February, and it was Joliet prison, and there was no heat. It was terrible. It was all throughout the winter.
Did you go down to the sex dungeon?
No.
They got a fire room down there.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to go down there. It was off limits.
So anyway, Lawrence Ripple, 71 years old, he was facing up to 37 months in prison. His attorney, as well as a federal prosecutor, asked...
Lawrence Ripple?
Yes. They call him Larry Rips.
Yeah.
His attorney and the federal prosecutors asked the judge for leniency, and the request was supported by the vice president of the bank, and they decided that the correct punishment that he had to face was... Now, remember, he robbed a bank to escape his wife. So what he did to get out of... or the punishment he ended up getting was 6 months home confinement, 3 years supervised probation, 50 hours community service. He had to pay $227.27 for lost wages to bank employees that day, and as well as a $100 fine to the Crime Victims Fund.
Okay.
But he made an attempt to rob a bank to flee his home and ended up getting sentenced to his home. It's literally his nightmare.
Which is the best.
And
just the best.
I love the way that it turned out. As it turns out, though, the reason he did it was because he was dealing with some depression after having heart surgery. He had heart bypass surgery in 2015, and he had undiagnosed issues. He has since been put on medication, and they're like, well, we don't think you're going to try to rob a bank anymore. So that's why they were super lenient with the punishment. But I love this story. When it came out, I was like, this is amazing. A man would rather rob a bank than be at home.
Right.
And then now the follow-up of...
Is you're going to be at home.
Not only are you going to be at home, but you're fucking stuck there. Forever. So, how's your knowledge on duels?
Having never been in a duel.
In or around a duel?
No, I've never been in a duel. But I know you slap someone in the face with a glove.
Usually.
And then you do a like it could be guns. Guns at 30 paces.
Is it 30 or is it 10?
It could be 10. Depends on the gun.
Like a flat screen gun?
Yeah, curved screen gun, CRT gun. But yeah, pistols, 10 paces.
So now there is... Well, in Canada, they are deciding that it's time to bring dueling back. The Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Canada, Jody Wilson-Raybould, introduced legislation meant to update and modernize the criminal justice system. Now, the majority of it and the headlining news of it was that they were putting some clarification and strengthening Canada's sexual assault laws.
Right.
However, in the mix, they got a few other things that just by coincidence or some things that they just decided, this is old, we don't need this anymore. They said that the proposed legislation would repeal several criminal code offenses that were enacted many years ago, but that are no longer relevant or required today. It's safe to say this is a timely update to the code and that many years might be an understatement. So, according to Wikipedia, dual challenges were issued infrequently during Canada's early settlement years, and that their last records show that the last duel where someone died was in 1838.
Goes to show that they were even polite back then.
Yeah, right? That's what I'm thinking. Like, of all places, why is Canada like, we should bring back?
Right.
planned death.
They were talking. I forget. They did a. I think it was Seth Meyers who did the joke about Real Housewives of Toronto. He goes, it got canceled because at the end of each fight they go, okay, yeah, I see your point.
So the total number of dueling incidents in Canada numbered around 300 between the mid-1600s and 1948.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, some of the other repealed criminal code offenses include advertising a reward for return of stolen property, no questions asked. So I guess that was...
The law?
It used to be. So they were like, nah, that's fine now. Possessing, printing, distributing, or publishing crime comics. I don't know.
Okay.
But, this is...
We don't want all this negativity. We'll just give us Archie, okay?
Can I do like CSI, but on the papers?
You do like, wow.
just a panel of going, wow. Oh, this is the Miami strip. Okay.
This is Miami. This is when he put his glasses on. This is my favorite part here. Look, right here. He's going to say something witty, and then in the next frame, he puts his glasses on, and then he goes, wow.
Publishing blasphemous libel, which I'm like, I feel like you could still, libel should still be illegal.
Yeah.
But,
blasphemous.
Issuing trading stamps, and possibly my favorite one besides the duel, fraudulently pretending to practice witchcraft.
Do not be a fake. That's right.
Don't you pretend? I know you love the craft, Mitch, but you really have to stop saying you're a witch.
Earth, air, water, fire.
Mitch, I need you to stop it, okay?
Listen, Nev Campbell, she had scars.
Yeah.
And then they were, she was okay, and then she got rid of her scars, and then she was totally hot.
She was super duper hot.
Because all she did was take off her sweater.
Bam.
Thanks to witchcraft.
I know, but you gotta...
So that's why it changed my life.
You know,
I can't actually do it.
It's not I know. And if people see you going around saying Mitch with the upside down M is a witch...
Earth, air, water, fire.
Would you stop it? Can't you just say Captain Planet like a normal person?
Nev Campbell.
I understand
She took off her sweater. And she was hot.
And she has some friggin' great yabos.
She does.
But you gotta stop with the witchcraft. Whatever you do, no more hocus pocus. No more the craft. No more Teen Witch. We can keep Teen Witch.
Okay, can we keep Teen Witch? Really, no hocus pocus?
No hocus.
That guy was a cat. And then he wasn't. All thanks to witchcraft.
She turned me into a newt. I got better. Are you familiar with
Nev Campbell?
What about flat screen Nev Campbell?
No.
Because she was around before.
Party of Five.
Party of Five was still CRT Nev Campbell. So
she took off her sweater. Curved screen Nev Campbell.
You're disgusting. So it's not just Canada where they're trying to bring back duels.
Okay.
I found out back in April, some people in Oregon, mainly there's some Republicans that are trying to scrap a 172-year-old ban on duels for public officials. They say it's an attempt to highlight how many arcane laws are still upheld by the state constitution.
Right.
So, Republican Senator Brian Boquist said that they decided that it would not be very civil if two members of legislature, you know what I'm saying.
Legislature disagreement?
Disagreed, and then they shot each other on the front steps of the provisional Capitol.
Right.
So, that was the reason it got passed. It got passed in 30 minutes when it first got introduced. Do you know when it came into effect?
No.
The rule came into effect in 1845, more than 4 decades after U.S. President Vice President Aaron Burr shot dead the first Treasury Secretary Alexander Hamilton after a bitter rivalry. That was, you're still allowed, people in office are allowed to have duels. So they passed this law. It's a real law that says, Article
My
2.
name is Alexander. Bang! Oh,
That's a really short play.
that's such a short play.
You guys like short stories, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's all done as a flashback. Okay, that makes sense.
So if it passes in the state Senate, in the House and the Senate, then the people of Oregon will have a chance to vote on it. Under the current Constitution, Article 2, Section 9 states that anyone who offers, accepts, or knowingly participates in a challenge to fight a duel, or who shall agree to go out of the state to fight a duel, shall be ineligible to any office of trust or profit. So basically, you cannot hold any position in the government.
If you be dueling.
Yeah, if ye be dueling, no jobs here.
No jobs.
So anyone sworn into statewide or country office or judgeship in Kentucky, like this is actually on the books in Kentucky. To this day, anyone sworn into any statewide or county office or judgeship in Kentucky must declare under oath that he or she has not participated in, acted as a second, or otherwise assisted in a duel. So basically, you can't show up filming World Star. You're like, no, can't be a judge.
I, Theodore R. Beauregard, do solemnly swear that I have never been a part of a duel.
Excuse me, if I may interject.
Yes, you sir.
I need to interject right quick.
I am trying to be sworn in.
I understand that, but according to the rules, that say you have to, under oath, say that you have not participated in or been around or been, therefore, whence in a duel. I must remember and recall 14 years ago when you defiled my sister in my father's barn.
Uh-huh.
I challenged you to a duel.
And I did not show up.
But I went to your house. And knocked on your door.
Yeah, I remember, and I recall you knocking on my door.
And I challenged you to a duel again.
And I offered you sweet tea.
And I told you I do not drink sweet tea when I'm in the midst of a duel.
That's right. And I told him, because we are not dueling.
No.
Once
a challenge has been issued, it must be answered.
Right, and I believe the sweet tea was the answer of no.
So you can see that you have answered to a duel, which means you are a part of it.
No.
You can't just keep saying that word again.
That is just how it works. I was going to go into a whole thing about it being a flat screen duel, and I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. That's just how it works.
So there's one person to give public testimony against the resolution. He's a local lawyer and spokesman for the Oregon Progressive Party.
There's a bullet in his shoulder.
Dan Meek. He argued that the resolution would effectively allow modern-day lawmakers to have duels and pointed out the costs associated with printing the resolution on millions of ballots.
I would kill to see Al Franken shoot Paul Ryan in a duel. I would be.
How much more interest? See, the problem is, like, bring this up after.
That would open up so many seats. On the
There'd be so many like every day. They'd be like, well, I disagree. So do I. You want
duel?
Yeah, duel. It would certainly make people pay attention to politics more.
Right.
What? You have this stupid look on your face like you're going to say something you shouldn't.
I'm just not going to.
Say it.
I mean, like, one person to abstain, Gabby Giffords.
Oh,
she's like, screw this, I'm looking this time.
It's like, no.
Takes out her gat. I ain't going back to the hospital.
I'm going to baseball practice.
Well, that Gabby Giffords. Oh, wow.
Yeah, look at you. You said something terrible first.
That is a spider.
For the people who don't know the visual part of what just happened, there actually is a spider above you.
Spider.
But you're like, yeah, the thing you said, that's a spider.
That is a spider.
Is that a saying where you're from? Like, oh, you can't say that. That's a spider.
I say that is a spider.
Have you now, or have you ever been part of a duel with a spider?
I'm about to be.
This is great for a podcast. You can't tell, but Patrick is trying to kill a spider. Oh, and he failed miserably, and it's consumed him.
Yeah, that's it. Get out. Wait, it's got a cut. It's a flat screen cut. No, you click there. That's the way it works. Bang.
Scene.
I took the spider's cut.
So when that...
Oh my God, he's got 7 more.
There were no background checks for that.
Who knew?
So Senator Ginny Burdick, who chairs the Senate Rules Committee, kicked off the discussion by jokingly calling it the bill I've been waiting all session for. So she's just like sitting out there like, oh, this sucks.
When
this
are we
sucks.
going to get to
She's
the
like,
dueling?
"Ooh, let's bring back the dueling. Unfortunately, she later, after the talks, with another touch of humor, saying, well, I'm deeply disappointed that the ambitions for this bill are bigger than dueling because I was all set to go. It's like, oh, you put a bunch of other bullshit on here?
God damn it. I'm going to hang an amendment on my cool dueling proposition.
This is why we can't have nice things. Just keep on ruining them. Right. I think, no, we got one more.
Yes.
Have you ever been to Disneyland?
Oh, I thought we were doing the other one.
What other one?
Lord Buckethead.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
I'm all set on Lord Buckethead.
I forgot to include that one.
Oh my God. Let's just do Lord Buckethead right now.
Okay, so England had a rushed election.
Oh my God.
It was unprecedented. If I don't know a ton about it.
I will tell you. Basically, because Theresa May, who's the prime minister, is the equivalent like female Donald Trump.
Okay.
Super conservative, was one of the people who really wanted Brexit to happen.
Grabbing pussies.
Yeah. Who really wanted
right.
Really wanted Brexit to happen so that they could be a little bit more stricter about who comes in the country. You know, no Muslims, blah blah blah. And then, granted, they just had 2 attacks, but I'll tell you right now, and I wanted to say this, I was going to use this as a ray of light if you did not have one. Do you have one?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
But if you got one,
I do have.
We could always have a little more light in the world.
The ray of light is because the big fire that happened there's like a high rise in London. Yeah. It caught on fire, and the only
like a day.
Only 12 people were injured. 12 people were, or I think only 12 people died, and then a bunch more injured. But it could have been way worse, except for the fact that
the ray of light is 12 people died.
No, it could have been way worse than that. But it was because a lot of people were up for it's like a meal. It's called Sahur. And it's essentially the end of Ramadan.
Oh, yeah.
And because they were awake, they were doing their breakfast thing at like 1:15 in the morning.
Yeah.
They all were able to run to the building, start banging on doors, getting people up and getting people out. The mosques who were doing their final prayers and stuff, opened up their doors to people, gave them water and everything like that. Had Ramadan not been essentially closing, so many more people would have died. So, but my whole thing was, where's their fucking tweet? You know, you guys were so quick to be like, Muslims, blah blah blah. Where's their tweet? Anyway, nonetheless.
So in this election, when we're having local elections in the U.S., you can write in whoever the fuck you want.
Right.
Chances are they're not going to get anywhere with it.
She was trying to shore up her base.
Right.
It's like getting more congressionals, if the Republicans were able to do this or the Democrats were able to do this, then a Democratic president would want to bring up their election quicker. And then hopefully that they get more seats, and then they could push, because that's just the way their shit works. It didn't work for her. It kind of backfired.
Oh, yeah, it backfired immensely.
But, yeah, you're right.
They had a few special candidates.
And the name of their parties is great, because there's one that's called the Just Political Party.
Yeah.
the Monster Raving Loony Party, and then there's the Gremloids.
Ah, sweet, the Gremloids.
The Gremloids, their
Is that
candidate
like,
of choice.
I mean, I think the one that we have the most equivalent to is probably Vermin Supreme.
Yes.
It was an old dude with a boot on his head.
And the best part is, so like, the terrible part for American politics is these people are like, yeah, they're around, and they don't normally make debates.
Right.
Because they don't, they put that cap, like, you got to have this much.
Right.
You have to have this amount of the.
So they can't have
percentage.
1,000 people at a debate.
Right. Unlike, this past one with all the Republicans, but they had like 19 people on stage.
Yeah.
But in this case, but in England, they're all up there.
Yeah.
So in this case, you've got Theresa May, you've got the Labour guy, Pat McDonald, you've got Liberal Democrat Tony Hill, and then you've got Lord Buckethead.
Which, he's dressed head to toe in black and has a long bucket on his head.
Lord Buckethead has been in 3 other elections. He's gone up against Margaret Thatcher and
Lost.
Yeah, he lost. Went up against Margaret Thatcher. Went up against where is it? Other British people, John Major of the Conservative Party, Margaret Thatcher of the Conservative Party, and now Theresa May. We don't know if it's the same guy.
Yeah, they have no idea who it is.
When asked if it was the same guy,
he's essentially Batman.
He replied, "I am Buckethead. We are Buckethead. We are Legion." Does that answer your question?
Yeah, he's basically Batman. It doesn't matter who wears a cowl.
He claims to be an intergalactic space lord.
Naturally.
And where's his platform? Lord Buckethead's manifesto. Election promised strong, not entirely stable leadership. And it's quotes. Nuclear weapons. A firm public commitment to build the £100 billion renewal of Britain's Trident weapon system, followed by an equally firm commitment privately not to build it. An equally firm commitment privately not to build it at all. So they're not going to do it. They're secret submarines, so no one will ever know. It's a win-win. Free bicycles for all to combat obesity, traffic congestion, and bike theft. If you got a bike, you don't need one.
I don't know. If I got a bike, I'm going to try to collect them like Pokemon.
Instead of Theresa May's commitment to bring back grammar schools, Buckethead would build Gamma schools founded on 3 principles. 1, better funding for teachers to attract bright graduates. 2, increase facilities for children, especially playing in fields. 3, if any children...
Wait. How do you increase the facilities for people to play in a field?
I don't know.
I don't know why I'm trying to find rationale.
Buckethead knows. And 3, if any child misbehaves 3 times, they are blasted into deep space. With the parents provided a lovely fruit basket by way of consolation or celebration, depending on the child. Discipline is key. A referendum to whether or not to have another Brexit referendum. Legalize the hunting of fox hunters. Nationalization of a